Hi everyone, I'm taking a class on Corona held by WashU, and I want to talk about how our relationship with our environment impacts the spread of disease. Diseases and even pandemics are increasing in frequency because of our often negative interactions with our surroundings. We often neglect that habitat loss, climate change, food production, biodiversity loss, and wildlife trade are all interconnected, and any of these issues can lead to the spread of illnesses, and in bad cases, pandemics. But how do these factors contribute to disease spread? When we look closely, the answer is often that zoonosis plays a role. A zoonotic disease is any disease that jumps from animals to humans. 6 out of 10 diseases in humans and 3/4 of the world's emerging infectious diseases are zoonotic. In fact, COVID-19 is a zoonotic disease. We have seen the impact of COVID-19, and if we don't stop exacerbating conditions that lead to zoonotic illnesses, we are bound to see more pandemics similar to this one. So in this video, I will address what we can do to prevent future zoonotic illnesses. I first want to mention that zoonotic disease transmission has always been possible. However, it is becoming more and more apparent because several factors, including habitat destruction through deforestation, put humans and wildlife in repeated close contact. With that being said, animal microbes are able to cross over to humans much more easily. Currently, many multinational corporations have been replacing forests with soy, palm oil, and cattle plantations, and other companies are destroying habitats by mining gold and coltan. Ultimately, these companies' activity threatens endangered and non-endangered species alike, pushing them out of their habitats and forcing them to interact more closely with humans. Moreover, these actions have resulted in producing large quantities of waste that contain pathogens, and they have contributed to climate change. Like habitat destruction, climate change has several consequences. This process leads to habitat alterations because of changes in local weather patterns. These habitat changes prompt the loss of species, which upsets the balance of animals in wild areas and increases the chance of zoonotic disease transmission. So, what can we do to prevent the spread of zoonotic diseases? Well, first and foremost, we must recognize that we are a part of nature. We must acknowledge the One Health approach, which notes that there is overlap between environmental health, human health, and animal health. After recognizing that we must coexist with nature, we must acknowledge our role as consumers. We must be more conscious about what we do, buy, and use, and how our actions impact the environment both in the short and long terms. If we all band together to decrease the consumption and use of harmful products, we can change markets and attitudes and prompt large corporations to disregard their harmful methods. A good first step to becoming environmentally conscious individuals will be to cut down our consumption of beef, milk, and soy, among other products whose production contributes to habitat loss. We must also be conscious of our greenhouse gas emissions. It is a little unreasonable for me to ask you to get rid of your car, but if you can, go for it. Realistically though, carpooling when you're able to is a great start. Additionally, try to walk or bike rather than drive to close by places. Besides being mindful, we must actively fight for change. In our fight, we must include indigenous groups in decision-making about forest policy and conservation efforts, as they have been fighting large corporations for the protection of land for years. We must also maintain protected habitat areas and create buffer zones around them to limit interactions between animals and humans. We can do this by working with cooperative communities to create trenches and other boundaries between human and animal environments. However, it is important to note that we cannot force ourselves on communities who do not want and will not maintain this work. Ultimately, we must continue learning about and advocating for our surroundings, not only to prevent the spread of future diseases, but also to promote a more inclusive world in which all organisms and environments coexist.